A 56-year-old commercial lobster diver was swimming off the coast of Massachusetts when he was suddenly swept into the mouth of a large whale. Lobster hunters are an extremely tough breed of people. In order for that specialty to appear in front of a guest of an expensive restaurant, someone has to dive and pull it out from the seabed. Especially famous are those from Massachusetts, who dive and collect crabs every day. They know all the places where these animals gather and hide from strong sea currents. By the way, that job is fraught with numerous dangers. The hunters generally dive in pairs, while one from the boat watches the bubbles that come to the surface and follows their movement. It often happens that strong currents drag someone to the open sea. Attacks by great white sharks, which abound in those waters, are also frequent. 56-year-old Michael Packard, a veteran with decades of experience, has experienced almost all of this, and he believes that nothing can surprise him. Several times the current carried him out to sea, so they barely found him and pulled him out. He came across the bodies of his fellow divers who failed to surface. He saw great white sharks regularly, but he was never attacked. He also survived a plane crash 10 years ago. Namely, the small plane he used to travel around Costa Rica crashed in the rainforest. The pilot, co-pilot, and one passenger died in the crash. Packard, along with 5 surviving passengers, survived 3 nights without any necessities. In doing so, he had several internal injuries. When the rescuers found them, they claimed that the victims would not survive another day. However, nothing stopped him from continuing his work. It was the same on June 11th of 2021. Packard left the house early in the morning for the harbor. He boarded the ship with several colleagues. Just as they set to sail, the engine broke down. All but Packard transferred to another vessel. He stayed with the crew he trusted. They had sailed together thousands of times. What is one small flaw when they were already in a place Packard had marked as excellent for hunting? He put on a diving suit, put on the bottles, and jumped over the fence. Josiah Mayo remained on deck with the task of tracking the bubbles. Michael was slowly descending. He roamed around because of the constant danger of great white sharks. Fortunately, none were in sight. He relaxed and dived to a depth of 15 meters. He saw a pile of lobster. He got down and started collecting them. The bag was slowly filling up. Then he felt a shock. He did not understand what hit him, as if he had been hit by a tow truck at full speed. Everything went dark. He thought he had passed out. Why can't he see anything? In an instant, it crossed his mind that he had been attacked by a great white shark. Then why is everything black? She couldn't swallow him. He felt around for sharp teeth, but there were none. He felt only something smooth and flat. Then it finally dawned on him. He was swallowed by a whale. Now he is in the mouth of a huge animal. He was trying to fight to get out. He flailed his arms and legs to no avail. He just felt more pressure, as if a whale was trying to crush him in its mouth. An oxygen regulator fell out of Packard's mouth. He stopped breathing for a moment. He frantically searched for it. Finally, he grabbed it and put it back in place, not giving up on the jabs and kicks. Maybe that's how he gets the animal to just spit him out. Nothing happened, except that his head began to spin. He almost gave up. He thought of his sons. Their father has just been swallowed by a whale. That will remain in their memory. If at all anyone finds out how he ended up, all the adventures and misadventures he survived and from which he emerged victorious will remain in the shadow of a bizarre death. He mustered the last atoms of strength. He began to strike again. Then he saw the light. He remembered that this was how people described moments when they were close to death. Yet this light was strange, as if he had seen it before. This was not how he imagined those last moments. And then he hit his head on something. It only took him a moment to realize that his head hit the surface of the water. The whale simply rose to the surface and began to shake its head violently. This dislodged the diver. Packard spent a few more seconds below the surface, then barely surfaced. He floated, barely aware of what had just happened to him. He heard the sound of the ship's engine. His comrades were arriving. A few seconds later, he was already on the ship's deck. He heard someone calling for help on the phone. However, he could hardly believe what he was saying. "We are sailing towards the shore. Our diver has just been swallowed and spat out by a whale. And it was about him." At the hospital, it turned out that there were almost no injuries, except for a bunch of bruises and a sprained knee. Scientists explained how a humpback whale almost swallowed him. These monstrosities, about 15 meters long and weighing almost 40 tons, feed by opening their mouths wide and sucking up everything in front of them. Smaller fish, plankton, and whatever comes their way. Packard had the misfortune to find himself in that place. However, the whale could not possibly swallow him. Its throat is too narrow. But he could have been hurt by blows with his tongue, by breaking his neck or spine as if it were a stick. Packard's experience is comparable to when a motorcyclist swallows a bug while driving without a helmet. He described it similarly and apologized to the whale with an oath that nothing like this would happen again. And the next time he dives, he won't lose sight of little things like a 40-ton gaping whale. We would like to thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed watching, please press a like button. Consider subscribing to our channel and hit a bell icon so you get notified when we come back with another exciting true story.